What's up, guys? It's Tobi Rosario. So I just wanted to do a really quick video and talk about what is wrong with wholesaling. Before I get started, don't forget to subscribe. Hit that bell notification. That way you get notified whenever I post a new video. Also, smash that like button. Smash that like button does help with the algorithm and let it get suggested to other people. That way I get more views. It grows my channel. So I really appreciate it if you smash that like button. So I love wholesaling, right? Here's why. And I'm going to talk about what's wrong with it, right? So number one, wholesaling is very low barrier to entry, right? So essentially you don't need any money. You don't need any credit. You don't need any experience, and you don't need a license, right? Right? And the benefit of all that is you don't have to go through a lot of hoops to get started, right? So you can, when I say you don't need money, you can hustle your way to a deal, right? You don't have to, it's not like you're buying a franchise where you have to come out of pocket 50, 60, 70, 100 grand, right? To get started in the business, right? Wholesaling, it's a great way to kind of get your foot in the door with very little money and kind of slowly build up a business where you start hiring people, et cetera, right? It's great. And you don't need any like certification, anything like that. You don't necessarily need any experience. And a lot of the information is right on my channel or other YouTube channels. There's a lot of information out there for you to get started. It's not like it's a secret, right? It's gotten very popular over the last couple of years. So all the information is ready and available. So that's why I like it. And the good thing about it, you get really large chunks. These checks can be 3, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Like it really doesn't like that. There's no cap on what that deal is because it's what you negotiate. So that's what I love about that as well. The problem is, here's the problem. Here's what's wrong with wholesaling. Number one, it is transactional. So you're only as good as your last deal, right? So once I close a deal, now I got to focus on the next deal. It's not passive, right? It's like it's only a transaction, and then you got to focus on your next deal. And, that can be a grind because you're always chasing your next deal. You're always chasing your next deal. No matter what anyone tells you, you're chasing your next deal because you have to be marketing in order to get new leads, in order to convert those leads and then close a deal. That's number one. Number two, what the gurus don't tell you is not every deal closes, right? So it's a roller coaster. It's there's gonna be a lot of ups and downs, especially in the beginning. So it takes a while to kind of keep it consistent, and you have to be very consistent to keep it consistent and shell out a lot of money, kind of learning as you go. So that's another thing. Like it's very up and down. You can have, like, I done had 30, 40, 50, $60,000 months and not close any deals. Like those deals didn't go through because of title issues, right? So that's really out of my control. So that can be frustrating. It can be stressful. You have these expectations that you think you're going to close this amount in this month and it doesn't happen. So that's part I don't like about the business. And in part two, and going back to one of my first points, is that it's like transactional. It's not passive. It's not something that can truly be passive, right? And then the larger you grow, the margins start to really cut down, right? The larger you grow, the margins really start to slim down. I don't have a big team, but I know people who do have big teams, and the margins start to get really thinner as you grow because you got to hire more people, you got to pay them, you got to pay a whole bunch of stuff, right? So that's another thing. So, and the last point I want to make is that what I've been finding is that a lot of states are really starting to crack down they're whispering or considering passing laws that wholesalers need to either require a license. There's actually a bill that is they're thinking about passing, and I'll have the link below to that article in Philadelphia where, I mean, it's really going to kill the wholesalers because the article says it's going to require wholesalers to be licensed, also to go over the options to the seller, the potential seller, and tell them, look, there's other options. You have to like break it down. Look, you can listen on with a realtor. These are your options. This is actually the ARV. Like you have to really convince them not to go with you, like really convince them, and you have to show them all options. That's essentially what the bill says in Philadelphia. And again, I'll have some of the articles and information on that bill that they plan on posting, or a screenshot somewhere in this video or in the links in the description. And I know Chicago, Illinois passed a law where you have to be licensed. I mean, that's not really a big deal, but what I do see trending going forward is that they're starting, because let's just face it, real estate wholesaling is not regulated. It's not regulated by the government. I mean, you can essentially do whatever you want, right? There's no regulation in there. There's no laws against it, and the reason it's starting to like pick up steam with laws, my personal opinion, is because these damn realtors. If you're a realtor and I found you, I mean, I'm just speaking the truth. Realtors are getting very upset because, number one, the investor doesn't need a license. That's number one. Number two, the wholesaler or the investor really negotiates their price, negotiates how much they make on that deal. As opposed to a realtor, it's like you just get a percentage of the deal, right, based on the sale price. A wholesaler really negotiates, like there's no cap to what he can make. When I say cap, like he can negotiate as much as you want on that assignment fee. A realtor is kind of like, look, this is what you get, percentage based on the sale price, right? So I feel like realtors are getting a little upset that these wholesalers are making a lot more money than them, because now I will say that there are a lot of bad wholesalers. They are, so I will say there's some bad apples in here in the business who really are not ethical, who really try to take advantage of these homeowners. Me personally, I don't. If it truly is not a good fit, it's not a good fit, and I always tell them, let me know how I can help. I have a great realtor if you want to listen with them. I always try to make it a win-win for me and the seller. I never try to force them to sell. I never try to convince them to sell, right? You shouldn't, like, when someone needs to sell, there's not a lot of convincing, right? You can kind of like give them all the benefits of why it's better to work with you, right? Here are all the benefits, but you're not like forcing them, putting a gun to their head, doing too much sales to convince them to sell, right? So that's just, but there are some people who really take advantage of, especially the older homeowners who are a lot older. I've heard some stories, some horror stories where people do take advantage of those people, and I agree there has to be some boundaries where you can cross the line, and I do agree there are some bad apples there. So that part I can see where the realtors can, as an investor, and I can see where the realtors see that they're some people are being taken advantage of. So I agree with that part. The parts I don't agree with is like they're upset that we can literally make a bigger fee than them without needing a license or certification, going to school or anything like that, and usually close in 2 to 3 weeks. And theirs can take a long process, 30 to 45, 60 days, because you have to get the proper financing for that buyer. So that's what's wrong with wholesaling, right? It's not passive, so it's very transactional, and I see regulation coming down in the next couple years where, getting a license, that's really not a big deal. That's really not a big deal. But if they pass a law like they're thinking about passing in the city of Pennsylvania, then that's going to be a problem. That's going to really affect wholesalers. That's why I'm transitioning to more buy and hold or passive incomes, right? Because I don't have to, once I close on that property and I get passive income, it's coming every single month. I don't have to chase another deal. It's going to be passively coming every single month for me. That way I don't have to run around like you're kind of like in a rat race, because you're always looking for your next deal. It's like a commission job, right? What you want to avoid is looking for next deal, looking for this. Like, you just want to, at some point, you want to slowly transition into being a buy and hold investor. So that's kind of where I'm leaning and transitioning and pivoting to being a buy and hold, or an investor who starts investing for the purposes of cash flowing, not for the purposes of getting cash, right? There's a big difference. Trying to build and trying to invest to build cash flow, and trying to invest to get cash. Big difference. Quick cash or build cash flow. Big difference. Comment below. Let me know your thoughts on what you like or don't like about this business. I try to be as transparent as I can. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that bell notification. That way you get notified whenever I post a video. Also, smash that like button. That's my time. My name's Tobi Rosario. Peace.